Thank you.
I don't want to worry you, but there was something familiar.
George is catching on.
Are you sure? You're tired. Perhaps you're mistaken.
Maybe. But I didn't like the look in his eyes when he spoke to you. Pardon me?
Yes, dear.
Never mind.
Can't you sit still, George?
I need to go to the John.
While you're there, check out the buffet car, George. Unthinkable though it is, I am hungry enough to eat English food.
Okay.
Everyone's harping on the English for some reason.
The man's face was blotched and unshaven. I guess he'd been traveling all night. Hi! Having a party?
No, this is breakfast. Come on, join us, man. Away, Basha, wake up, man. What's company?
His breath was like the outlet from a chemical factory.
Excuse my mate, he's taking a nap. Sleeping like a bobby. I'll wake him up when we get to Newcastle.
We passed through Newcastle half an hour ago.
And I never noticed.
What is that stuff you're drinking? It smells like gasoline.
Right, I'll put tears in your chest, like.
And your eyeballs, too, by the looks of you. Would you like a red nose?
No, thanks, pal. I got one of my own.
Nice.
Have you ever seen this man before?
Aye, man. He's chalky white and I claim my 10 quid, like.
No, he's an international assassin, and he goes by the name Khan.
Well, aye, man, but I was close, you know.
Do you know what this is?
No, man, what is it?
It's a hand buzzer.
You won't catch me out with that, pal.
If I'd wanted to catch you out, I wouldn't have shown it to you, would I?
Well, maybe she's mate, pal. Like a clever double bluff, you know.
See you later. All I could see of the man's face was a massive purple bruise around his eye. I didn't want to wake him. To be frank, without a cold water hose, I didn't think I could wake him. The windows seemed to have been sprayed with tiny flecks of froth.
Yummy.
You haven't opened that window, pal.
Why not?
It's freezing out there.
Does anything happen when he rolls over?
I didn't want to wake him. To be...
No, okay. Okay, nothing here. This is a sizable train. Oh, great. Look who it is.
That gangster creep from the hotel, Guido. Well, he didn't scare me. Hey, Buster, this is a no-smoking car. Okay, maybe he did scare me. It got worse. I suddenly realized who the conductor had reminded me of. Eccles, Marquet's murderer.
We're just surrounded by Templars at this point. And assassins, actually.
The door was locked. The door was locked. Guido looked like a weasel in a cheap suit. He also looked like the kind of man who wouldn't lose much sleep over murder.
I don't know why the dialogue is suddenly so low here.
I really didn't want to shoot the breeze with this guy.
Okay, that's the end of this direction. Let's go back the other way.
I should have known better than to leave Nico and the old lady alone. Suddenly, the sword of Baphomet took second place to finding the girl I loved.
The girl he loves! Ah, jeez. So unnecessarily sappy.
Hey, buddy. Listen, I need your help.
What's the matter?
There's a guy on this train who's trying to kill me.
Relax, man. You wouldn't try nothing with us in Basharia. We are veterans like. Slow action at Brightling Sea.
I don't recall the British Army being involved in a conflict in anywhere called Brightling Sea.
Well, you just take it from me, pal. You're in safe hands.
Did you see what happened to the young woman in the next compartment?
No, pal, I didn't. Have you lost her, like?
She's disappeared. The old lady, too. I think they're in trouble.
Oh, yeah, man. An old lady, too.
Yeah. You gotta help me.
Maybe they went to the toilet, like.
I don't think so.
They never go on their own. Always in pairs, you know.
No, she's been abducted, I'm sure. I've got to go look for her.
What's stopping you, pal?
The conductor. He's not what he seems.
You want to avoid him, like?
That's about it, yeah.
No problem.
See you later. I didn't want to wait to be...
Give it to it, pal. Don't jump.
I don't intend to jump. I'm going to climb on top of the train.
You're kidding, aren't you?
Just watch me.
Let's do it.
Hold on now, pal. I'll give you a hand, like.
Now George is an official action hero. Okay.
I always wanted to stop the train, and now was my chance.
Pull it. Nice.
You saved our lives, but why?
We were always on the same side, Stobart. Different causes, but a common enemy.
The Knights Templar?
Don't call them that. The real Templars were a noble foe. These barbarians have no right to that name. These men are no better than dogs.
What are the Neo-Templars after? What is the Sword of Baphomet?
Not what you think, my friend. It is a weapon, yes, but one which our enemies will find difficult to wield. A double-edged sword. A power older than Dimolay, older than Solomon.
We'll stop them. You and me together, and Nico.
No, George. My journey ends soon at the Garden of Paradise.
You're talking in riddles. Can't you tell me straight what they're after?
The sword symbolizes a colossal energy caused by the alignment of the Earth's natural power fields.
Which are focused at St. Ninian's.
The energy endowed the Templars with the power which made them great. A power which made them charismatic to such an extent they could control the will of all around them.
Interesting.
How did you escape from the Bull's Head?
It is a long walk from the cliff of the Bull to the village, Stobart. Fortunately, I know the ways of the wilderness.
No.
Do you want this red nose before you die?
No way. That is...
One last handshake.
May Allah guide you to our enemies.
Thanks.
One last thing.
What? What is it? He's dead.
Oh, great.
Don't worry. I hadn't forgotten about you.
Answer me this instant, George Stobart.
I will. When I'm ready.
Ha!
That's not fair, George.
No.
You took advantage while my hands were tied.
When Eklund pointed that gun at me, I thought I was gonna die. I thought of all the things I'd never get to do, and kissing you was at the top of my list.
George,
Uh-huh.
George, we've got to get off the train. Eklund could recover at any time.
So what are we waiting for?
Well, I guess we can just get off then. Early the next morning.
I'd feel happier if we had a gun or something.
Khan gave me something.
What?
His handbag.
Oh, great. If we run into any killers, we can give them a good buffeting. Didn't he have any weapons?
You don't know half of it. This bag's full of C4.
Wow.
Nice.
Why didn't you say so? Boy, we'll show them now. What's C4?
Plastic, George.
We're going to shop our way to victory?
2 kilos of plastic explosive. The detonator's broken now.
No problem. We'll buy a box of matches somewhere.
It doesn't work that way. It takes a small explosion to start the big explosion.
Well, that's not much use then. What does that sign say?
Apparently during the English Civil War in the mid-17th century, this place was used as an arms dump.
Yeah? What happened?
Look at the state of this place, George. You work it out.
Oh, stray spark?
You got it. The tower was the only thing to survive the blast.
I hope the explosion didn't destroy the Sword of Baphomet.
Do you? I rather hope it did.
Good point. Okay. Before we go in, is there anything we need to get and or do out here? I don't want to backtrack too much. I'll say it again, guys. George is a real idiot. Much rather have done this whole adventure thing with Nico. Anyway. I have a feeling this is probably end game, folks. Let's do it.
I scrabbled around in the rubble and found an old clay pipe with a broken stem. The pipe could have been anything from 50 to several hundred years old. The handle turned easily and the larger wheel began to revolve. Damn! Then the handle came off in my hand.
Everything breaks.
No.
Okay. Whole bunch of things that we can put stuff into, I guess.
I pushed the handle into the demon's mouth.
Oops. Give him a nose.
Sometimes the most childish gestures can have a cathartic effect. The transformation of the demon to a clown did just that for me. I was sure the clay pipe wasn't meant to fit in there.
Well, we can't turn the crank now?
There was nothing the nose could attach to. I tried pushing the panel, but wasn't surprised when it failed to move. Above the carved cross was an indecipherable inscription. For all I knew, it could have been scribed in Gaelic. Now that the handle was gone, it was easy to remove the cog and spindle.
Oh, okay. Alright, nothing else there. Let's try those on the gargoyle.
The cog wouldn't fit the demon's nose. The cog wouldn't fit that hole. The cog slipped neatly into the eye socket.
Okay. Looks like we need 2 more things.
Under one of the stones, I found a metal coin which was green with age. It was caked with soil, but what I'd found was a small cog and spindle.
Boy, we just keep finding stuff in this pile.
With mounting excitement, I felt something between my fingers. It was short, hard, and black. Something I hadn't expected to find here. It was a plastic pen top.
Da-na-na.
I didn't find anything.
Okay, we finally run out of stuff in the magical pile of inventory items. Alright, one more time.
With a rasp of metal on stone, I eased the second eye into place. The cogs all meshed. It began to turn.
Improvised.
As soon as I saw the flickering torches, I realized the bogus Templars had beaten us to the sword. But where were they now? And why was it so quiet?
Too quiet.
It looks like the Templars got here first.
We might not be too late. There's still a chance.
I wish I had your optimism.
So do I, George. Sometimes you're so negative.
Alright, let's go. Excuse me.
Listen, I can definitely hear chanting.
You're right. I hear it too. What do you suppose they're doing?
It wouldn't surprise me if they were holding some kind of satanic sex ritual.
So, what are we waiting for?
George, what are we
Will
gonna
you
do with
look at that? Baphomet. Lavino was right. This place was ancient even to the Templars.
This whole place? This is Baphomet?
Finally, the truth. The Templars had never worshipped this graven image, no more than they'd worship a rainbow. But, like a rainbow, they regarded it as a symbol of a covenant with God, who'd revealed this place to them.
Rosso! Why, the double-dealing treacherous?
On the contrary, Inspector Rosso has been the model of obedience, an important quality in a true Templar. Now be quiet and watch, if you wish to live much longer.
Brothers and sisters, we are gathered here to witness the reforging of the sword that was broken. Here before God's sentinel, Baphomet, Grand Master and Knight of Baphomet. We salute and pledge our obedience to you.
I salute you, gatekeeper of the temple. 7 centuries ago, our greatest weapon, the sword of Baphomet, was lost to us. Now we prepare to reforge it, to wield against new enemies. We shall lead the people to a new order, wherein all borders will dissolve. All will be united under the red cross of the Templars. George, we have watched your efforts to stop us with respect. But surely you realize that you have been misled by our enemies. Both of us want a better world. Fortunately, no harm has been done. We need determined, resourceful men like you. Join us, George. Join us in true brotherhood.
Yeah. True. Wait. Brothers? What about Marquet? What about Pegram and Klausner? You didn't look on them as brothers, only as failures. 3 men dead, and you don't give a damn.
George, you know that sacrifices are necessary. Every great undertaking.
Join you? I'll see you in hell first.
Oh, George, I had great hopes for you. C'est la guerre. Eklund, kill him.
Nice.
I swear, I just wanted things to be right.
Take them. Kill them. They will not escape.
Well, well. If it isn't the great detective and his beautiful assistant, it's going to be a pleasure killing the pair of you.
George, what are we going to do?
No? Just trying combinations here first.
Maybe not.
Oh, what is that?
Come on, Nico. We're leaving.
You fools! You cannot escape us. Guido! Stop them.
But master, the powder!
That powder is from the English Civil War. You fool. It's over 300 years old. How explosive do you think it can be?
I thought it was all over, but Nico had one last trick up her sleeve. Or in her handbag, to be exact. A handbag full of plastic explosives.
Maybe, but this stuff is brand new.
We didn't stay long in Scotland. George had a vacation to finish, and I had another story to write. Not the real story, of course, but enough half-truths to fill a page and pay my rent for the month. George and I hung out together in Paris. I showed him my favorite restaurants, and he told me his best jokes.
You know, Nico, this city holds so many memories for me now. The cafes, the music.
The sewers.
Tell me about it. The clowns.
The jugglers.
And your pal Labano.
Oh, yes, dear Andre.
When we first met, and I was doing my detective stuff, you kind of disappeared a lot, Nico. Were you and Labano,
There was something happening, but nothing to do with Andre.
Uh-huh.
It was something from the past that I had to deal with, on my own. So, I dealt with it, and now it's over.
Hey, did I ever tell you the one about the old Irish couple in the lottery?
No, but I think you're going to.
Okay, there's this old Irish couple. They've been married forever, like 50 years, and they win the lottery.
Oh, okay, so no ending credits? What's this button do? Ah. Director's message. Thank you for playing Broken Sword, blah, 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 Shadow of the Templars, the director's cut. 2010 marks Revolution's 20th anniversary. Back in 1990, the Berlin Wall had just fallen. Sierra, creator of the King's Quest series, amongst many other adventure titles, ruled supreme in the adventure market. And LucasArts was emerging with a new breed of witty, quirky adventure games. Monkey Island was just around the corner. I was development director at the publisher Activision, and was keen to set up a development company to challenge the American behemoths. Tony Warrener, a designer-programmer with whom I had worked a few years earlier, was bored with writing aeronautical software. So was his colleague David Sykes, and Noirin Carmody, something like that, who was general manager for Activision UK, wanted to move from publishing to development. This is the Revolution team when we first started in 1990. Interesting collection of fellows there. Sean Brennan, then head of the publisher Microsoft, invited me out to lunch one day and told me that if I wanted to set up a studio, then he would fund and publish our games. Everything was fitting into place. All we needed was a game concept to pitch. That game concept was later to evolve into Lure of the Temptress. Based on a system that we called Virtual Theater, the adventure engine guided characters intelligently around a game world. We worked non-stop for weeks to write a prototype, and then drove to Microsoft's offices in London to make the presentation. But en route, after leaving the car unattended for a few minutes, a thief broke into it. The radio was stolen, but for some reason the thieves didn't take the PC on the back seat, which was not insured. So the pitch went ahead. Microsoft commissioned the game, and Revolution was born. You lucky bastards. The Lure of the Temptress team in early 1990s. The Broken Sword series was conceived, like so many of the best ideas, over an excellent dinner with plenty of wine. It was 1994, and I was dining with Noirin and Sean, who was now head of publishing at Virgin Interactive. We started talking about the mythology of the Templars, almost unheard of at that time, and what a rich historical background it would create for any entertainment product, particularly a game. And so, 10 years before the plethora of Templar-themed entertainment products, Broken Sword was born. First concept drawing for George. This is how Nico started life. We had very high ambitions for the game, but the competition was fierce. At Revolution, we had an excellent team who had written some very successful adventures. But to move to the next level, we needed to bring in the very best people from other creative industries. I convinced a very talented layout artist, Eoghan Cahill, to join the project. He and his colleague Neil Breen, who had both previously worked at the Don Bluth Studios in Dublin, drew all the backgrounds in pencil, and we digitally colored them in Photoshop. A bridge over the Seine, however you pronounce that, surprisingly similar to the Weiss Bridge in York. The main characters in the introduction sequence were created and drawn by a brilliant animator, Mike Burgess, who worked for Red Rover Animation Studio. Tragically, Mike, who was in his 20s, died a few months later. A few years earlier, I had played for a cricket team with the composer Barrington Phelan. We had since lost contact, but when I contacted him to suggest that he might like to write the music, he jumped at the chance. The dream team had come together. The development process was very exhilarating, but often fraught. On its release, Broken Sword was incredibly well received both critically and commercially. The game was followed a year later by Broken Sword 2. After a gap of 5 years, we moved to a 3D presentation for Broken Sword 3, and then Broken Sword 4. While hugely controversial, the move to 3D was necessary to secure publisher support, although my provocative statement that point-and-click adventures are dead has often returned to haunt me. I can imagine. The enigmatic Duane, who is he really? And does his mysterious wife Pearl really know for sure? Chantelle, the hapless waitress, who can really hold her, well, actually can't hold her liquor. For this director's cut, I have had the pleasure of working with comic book artist Dave Gibbons, with whom we had worked previously on Beneath a Steel Sky. Dave had drawn the facial expressions and the new movies. An honorable mention goes to Tony Warrener, who has been an integral part of Revolution since its inception, and Just Peters, with whom Tony has programmed this new version. And of course, commercial director Noreen Carmody, who has helped steer the company through both the good and the difficult times. I feel extraordinarily proud that 15 years after we conceived and started designing the first game, there is still such passion for the games, and privilege that so many fans have remained so loyal to the series. Thank you. Charles Cecil, director. Team had grown by 1996. Charles Cecil today, with slightly less hair. Noreen Commodi, one of the founders of Revolution. Charles and Dave working on Beneath a Steel Sky. And Dave Gibbons today. Tony Warrener, co-founder and director's cut programmer. Just Peters, present-day Revolution programmer. A photograph of Constantine's broken sword, erected outside York Minster a few years ago. Oh, okay. So, since we didn't get any credits, I thought I'd go ahead and just read this, since this talks about the background of the game and gives some credit to where credit is due. So that ends this Let's Play of Broken Sword. And I will have some final thoughts in the next video.